In this video, I'm going to talk about the 4 ways I manage my dental student loans. Unfortunately, we live in a time where the dental student loans are completely unreasonable, with dental students paying anywhere between $200,000 to $500,000 for an education that serves the population. I think it's criminal how much dental schools and medical schools are charging these students, and unfortunately, I don't see a solution in the near future. For today's video, I'm going to specifically go into what I do to handle my student loans so that I can live a more stress-free life. The first thing that you have to consider is student loan refinancing. You know, when you get out of dental school, you're going to have these federal loans which have an incredibly high interest of anywhere between 4 to 7%, and that can be really burdensome on you because eventually you're not paying any of the principal, but you're just paying the interest. So one of the best things to do is to send out applications to refinancing programs after you work for about a year or two to see if you can lower your interest rate to a more reasonable amount. I personally was very lucky to have my interest rate lowered to 2.95% over a 15-year span. I think I got very lucky because I don't see any of my colleagues that have that same rate, and I don't know if that rate is available right now. However, there is a trend towards lower interest rates because of the way the economy is doing. Now, before you do that, you also have to consider that there are advantages of being in the federal loan program. This loan program has a lot of variabilities in how you pay it off. You can pay it off with an income-based repayment or a variety of other options. And on top of that, we don't know if the government's going to come with a solution that gives you guys grants for those of you that have federal student loans. This is becoming a more prominent topic as millennials are feeling the burden of student loans, which makes them unable to do other investments like getting a home or even starting a business. And I'll definitely put a link down below to some of the loan refinancing programs out there. Make sure you do your due diligence and look for the best rates that you can possibly look for. So the second most important thing that you need to be doing is to consider negotiating a higher salary. I already talked a lot about the job application cycle and things to consider when getting a job, but I really didn't touch on how you should be negotiating for a higher salary. This is something that can be an entire YouTube video on itself, but there are plenty of books out there that help you negotiate salary. Remember that the business owner is stressed out and they want to make sure that if they're paying you a higher salary, that you're able to produce more for them. And that may take a little bit more skill, a little bit more experience. So don't be afraid to go on Indeed, go on Craigslist, and look for some jobs that may pay you a bit of a higher salary. Even if it's just a little bit higher, that can go a long way in helping you pay off your student loans. The next most important thing is to consider more affordable living arrangements. You know, when I graduated dental school, one of the first things I decided to do, along with my wife, was to live at home with our parents. And I know that can impact your ego, and that may be a hard decision to make, but if you have good relationship with your parents, if that's something that you can do and still remain happy, I would strongly consider it because that's going to save you a lot of money. You have to consider that if you get an apartment that's worth $2,000 a month, you're going to be paying $24,000 a year that just goes to living arrangements, and that can go to your loans. Other options are to live with roommates if you don't have a partner, or to just make sure that you're not getting really expensive housing. The goal is to pay off the loans in a reasonable amount of time, and this is going to help you tremendously. And the fourth most powerful thing that I personally do is to consider passive income options. Try your best to make smart investments. Consider getting some education on the stock market. Consider getting some education on online e-commerce or things that can help supplement your income in other ways. This is something that they don't teach you in school and that you're going to have to learn on your own time, on your own accord. So get some books that allow you to strengthen your investment knowledge, and you'll be better equipped because of it. Some people like to do real estate where they rent out a condo, and if that's something that you can afford, then by all means, that's something that you should consider. You know, I personally get passive income online through YouTube and other services like that. So that's something that I like to do. And at the end of the day, if you're providing a service that is valuable or helpful to someone where you're impacting their life in a positive way, then you will get compensated for that. And that's a great way to do business. So I want to say one more thing about paying off your loans. At the end of the day, you have 2 options. You can pay off your loans aggressively and just, save as much as you can and put it all to your loans immediately, or you can delay that payment if you have a very low interest rate, and that goes to the refinancing we talked about at the beginning. and then you can use that money for other investments. Maybe you want to start your own dental practice. Maybe you want to invest in the stock market or whatever it is. I think both those options are totally acceptable. For me personally, because I have an interest rate at 2.95% over 15 years, I think it's more valuable to use that money and to invest in starting my own dental practice. You know, a dental practice has a lot of expenses. It's actually kind of ridiculous how expensive it can be. Just one piece of equipment can cost upwards of $30,000. You know, x-ray units, a dental chair, which can be $12,000. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So you have to remain a little bit liquid in order for you to start a practice and get on your own 2 feet. So then you have to consider, if you start your own practice rather than pay off your student loans, what is going to be more valuable? I believe starting your own practice, getting your business running, is way more valuable than putting all your money to paying off your loans immediately. I also have the expectation, and I might be completely wrong, but I do have the expectation that something is going to be addressed with regards to student loans. I think we're at the peak of a bubble or a crisis. I think people are letting their voices be heard. The millennials are getting older and they're having more power in the political scene. And I just have a feeling that over the next 5 to 10 years, something is going to be done about student loans. And I think it's going to benefit people that maybe decided to wait a little bit to pay off their student loan. I might be completely wrong because the government doesn't really move too quickly and they're really slow on passing measures that will help students, and they haven't really done so much in the past, but this is something that I believe will be in the future. So what do you guys think about my advice? Is it relevant? Will it help you? What do you guys do to pay off your student loans? Leave it down in the comment section below. Leave a like on the video if it was helpful. Share it with your friends, and I will definitely see you for the next one. Thank you.